A lot of questions going into this offensive line this week where the whole line has been realistically hurt. We're going to be talking about that. Vic Fangio's press conference. And I have to say, A.J. Brown's press conference from yesterday late was actually a really good one. And it's really up to the Eagles on how they're going to fix this and what they're going to do. A lot to discuss. So let's get right into it.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Hope everyone is doing well. So a lot to discuss regarding the Philadelphia Eagles as usual. And the first thing I want to go over is the injury report. So nobody was really out of practice this week so far. A lot of light practices, but I think the big focal point here has been the offensive line, where we saw from Wednesdays, it was a light practice for Dickerson with a quad, Lane with an ankle, Cam with a knee, Tyler with an oblique injury. So their light practices are not fully out, so maybe aiming towards playing this week. You really need your line. Your whole offensive line is hurt right now, but I think the biggest good news that they have right now is Cam Jurgens. Cam Jurgens practiced the other day for his second consecutive practice. He's wearing that brace on his right knee, and he's moving pretty good. So I think, he's been out for a while now. Even the bye week didn't help him. He needed to heal up just a little bit more. And we really need Cam back. We really need to get this run game a lot better. Brett Toth came in and did pretty well. Not great his first game, but the last two, he hasn't played bad at all. And you're getting Jurgens back, and hopefully things will get back to normal. And, so that's really good news going into this week to get your starting center back. Hopefully Lane is okay with that ankle, and everybody else is aiming towards hopefully playing this week. So we'll see what happens, but very good on the injury report, aiming towards the right direction. Now, I want to talk about the A.J. Brown press conference the other night. Now, the video I made yesterday about A.J. and the Twitch stream and all that was way before, during the day, before we seen this press conference. And I have to say, this was one of the more productive kind of venting sessions for A.J. Brown, and I thought it was very positive. I don't think there was anything really negative about it. A.J. Brown was probably the realest I've seen him, especially during a press conference like this, where he's been trying to laugh through this whole situation, and he's just rolling with the punches of how this offense is really moving forward every single week, where he's not getting the targets and where they're not utilizing him or barely even using him in these games. A.J. Brown has no issue on freeing up other players to make big plays. That's not the problem here. How teams are defending us in 25 are way different than how they defended us in 2024. Defenses are making adjustments towards A.J. Brown. Defenses are making adjustments to sell out for Saquon Barkley. And I have to say that, yes, the offensive line hasn't been playing at the best as they have been this year, and health has been an issue up front. The one thing I absolutely love from A.J. Brown during this press conference, and it was just like, exactly what I wanted him to say. The Eagles are putting Band-Aids on this defense. It seems like the front office, Howie Roseman, has really just put more of his sole focus into this defense and getting an edge rusher and getting a corner and, just trying to fix it as much as possible, because this defense has been literally bailing out this offense for what? 7 games. And because of that, A.J. Brown is frustrated because the offense could play so much better. The Eagles are just getting by some of these games because of the talent they have in the building. 2023, they went by heart attack game after heart attack game, close games every single week because of the talent, and no adjustments were ever made towards what defenses were giving you. These defenses are making adjustments towards A.J. Brown, and the problem I have is that A.J. Brown is not getting the type of creativity when it comes to route concepts. They're not trying to open specific guys. I barely even see them moving receivers all over the field. This has a lot to do with our incapable OC and switching offensive coordinators every single year. I think that's a huge part of it. I never see George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb have an issue with targets. I never see T. Higgins and Jamar Chase have an issue with targets. Joe Flacco came in his first game as a Bengal on that Thursday night and threw to Chase, 15 times? This isn't rocket science. This is not impossible. When AJ is getting clouded on, or when teams make the adjustments towards AJ Brown, the Eagles don't make adjustments back. Kevin Patullo has been around every coordinator that's been in the building. He's on the sideline. He's game planning with these other offensive coordinators every single year. He was around Shane Steichen. He was around Kellen Moore. Why haven't they looked at some of the other years to see what benefits A.J. Brown, some of these route concepts, and where they put specific guys to free up on some of these combinations that they could use? Like, what is Patullo doing to really make the offense that much better? Because if he's not doing that, your most expensive wide receiver on this team right now is just going to be sitting the whole entire game in double teams and not even trying to get him involved. I think is one of the biggest disrespects that you can give a player like that. It's almost the same thing. Like, what plays work for Jalen Hurts? Kevin Patullo has to work to Jalen Hurts' strengths to make this a better offense. So why not do this with A.J. Brown with the amount of tape that's out there? I just don't get how you have so much tape on what you could possibly do, and yet teams figure out A.J. Brown in the offense and you just don't make the adjustments. Makes no sense to me. A perfect example of this is when Nick Foles was the backup quarterback in 2017 for the Philadelphia Eagles behind Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz gets hurt during the Rams game with an ACL. Nick Foles is your starting quarterback. The first couple weeks, Nick Foles didn't really look good. And yes, it was part of his offseason or his training camp, and he kind of had to get back into the fold of everything being on the field. But Doug Peterson didn't hesitate, went back and seen when he played for Chip Kelly and some of the RPOs and the things that really made Nick Foles successful in that offense and how he had 27 touchdowns in 1 year. I mean, these are the things that should be worked into this offense, even for another player at a totally different position. The defense goes after A.J. Brown, and that's it. You don't adjust from that. You just keep things the way they are. This is why A.J. Brown is frustrated. The rate you're going right now, you cannot win games like this. And yes, it was a tough game against Green Bay. I know that. The Eagles had way more opportunities offensively, and this is why your defense gets tired in the third quarter, and they're missing tackles, and they can't hold on because your offense can't sustain drives. I'm not saying every quarter has to be perfect. Every game is going to be perfect. You can't disappear from one series, your first series in the first quarter, all the way until the fourth quarter where you start to put some drives together. These things can't happen. And that coaching staff is a big problem right now. What you're doing right now will get you to the playoffs. What you're doing right now in the regular season will get you a playoff spot because your division's not good right now, and you can get away with it. But there's no way you're passing the division round of the playoffs looking like this. And yes, guys, we hold this team to a high pedestal because we expect more. This offensive roster, besides losing Mekhi Becton and besides not having Kenneth Gainwell, it's the exact same offense. And Kevin Patullo has been here the last, 5 years, around two OCs that had big success. And he's obviously learned nothing from being around all of these coaches. And that is what A.J. Brown is saying. This offense has not found its identity. This offense has got to be better. This offense has got to be more creative. It's only going to get you by because of the talent you have. And it's not going to win you anything down the road of this season. So no, we didn't have to deal with a cryptic tweet. We didn't have to deal with a stupid message or something from a Twitch stream. This was A.J. Brown just being him and being honest and being truthful. And I feel like it was positive, tough love from him to us and to the media. I think we really needed this from him, and I think we need to really listen, and I actually really enjoyed hearing this whole entire press conference. It was really good and very productive. We heard from Vic Fangio for the first time. So there wasn't any Jair Alexander questions. I mean, they kind of went right into the Jalen Phillips signing. He's like, when you shop at Nordstrom's, you get good stuff. I don't know what Nordstrom's is. Obviously, it's not my taste, or it's probably too expensive for me. But he said he's a good pass rusher, and they can move him inside. They can move him outside. They can do a bunch of different things with him. He's been absolutely amazing. This is the first time where Vic Fangio has brought in one of his former players, the very first time. And we know this pass rush is going to get better. We know that BG only had like 10 snaps. Nolan Smith was on a limited snap count as well. And we're hoping that that's going to increase just a little bit. So they're taking their time with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But defensive line wise, the pressure's there. I asked Vic Fangio about the starting corner spot at CB2 and, about Adoree Jackson, how he's played since the offseason program to now. And he says that he's a survivor. He's a guy that's just surviving to get playing time, and that, he's doing a little bit of good things. So they feel pretty good about Adoree', and he's being very, like I said, serviceable. I don't think he's been above average, but I think he had a pretty solid game. I'll give respect where respect is due when it comes to Adoree' Jackson. Now, Fangio was asked about the CB2 spot. What's going to make DeJean moved to CB2, and this is in connection to Michael Carter, which he really likes him and feels that if they need Michael Carter on the inside, they'll put him there. He has a lot of trust in his skill set, so that's really nice to hear. But until the CB2 spot is really failing this year and it's becoming a big problem, Vic Fangio is going to keep Adoree' Jackson or Keely Ringo or whoever is playing that outside, and DeJean will stay on the outside. But he did say that Michael Carter is definitely another option at nickel, so they're very lucky and happy to have him right now because there's no other corners on this roster outside-wise that could play the inside, and Michael Carter is the key to that. Fangio was also asked about Jacorian Bennett because how many times have I said, throw him on the field, let's see what he could do. Fangio is not a big fan of Jacorian Bennett. He still says even after 3 weeks of being back, he still is, quote-unquote, incomplete. He pretty much says this because he hasn't hit the field on a real game day yet and hasn't played really that much snaps. And, I feel like the excuse is always going to be there with Jacorian Bennett never getting that shot at CB2 because he hasn't played. And Fangio's fault for not playing him early in the season at least. The preseason games are just not going to be enough, and he was hurt during that time and came back and played a little bit. And then he was hurt again. He was just on IR for the last few weeks. So being back the last couple weeks, Fangio really isn't a big fan, but it's not really counting him out. I'm not really sure if Jacorian Bennett is even going to play at all unless there's injuries. Other than that, I think Adoree' Jackson is going to be the guy. And, I'm rooting for Adoree' Jackson. As much as we like to joke around and we like to talk shit about these players, I really want him to succeed here just for the year, and just be competent at that position and just be average and just do just enough as a serviceable CB2. Thank God we do have this pass rush now, so hopefully that will mask some of the exploitation of that position and the weakness of that position, not exposing it too much. I don't like relying on one position to help another position. We shouldn't be in this situation like we have been. But it is what it is. That's what we have to deal with now. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. We talked about Vic Fangio's press conference. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Fangio talked about Detroit, good quarterback, best offensive line in football, 2 good running backs, 2 really good receivers. So the Eagles are going to have a lot on their hands in this game, and the pressure's got to be there, and you're at home, and hopefully that helps. Big game for the NFC. This is huge. The Eagles could win this game on Sunday. They are in prime designation for that number 1 seed, that first week bye. And, you're going to be trotting on great things down the line of this season. Let me know in the comments section below what you guys thought of the A.J. Brown trade. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of the A.J. Brown press conference. And, is he right? And do the Eagles have to, be better with concepts? And this has to change. Do you feel like the Philadelphia Eagles offense at this point is so vanilla right now still that they have to do more with these receivers? I just don't see it with a lot of guys around the league. And, this is a moment where you're literally just going to ruin this 25 season. You're going to waste this fucking year away because you just don't have capable people that could get these guys in the right positions to win football games. And that's what I really don't want to happen. Oh, yeah, we lost the 25 season because we had an OC that didn't know how to use receivers, especially as a passing game coordinator. It makes no sense to me on this hiring, and it's still bothering me till this day with the amount of talent you have offensively. He is literally given a golden fucking jewel of mismatches everywhere when it comes to the offense. He's literally given a fucking roster offensively that's just so fucking overpowered. It's almost impossible to fuck up if you're an OC that's capable of knowing what you're doing. I'm sorry. My brain can't fucking function normally thinking about it because I've never seen just the most vanilla plagued fucking offense. We went back to being what we were 3 weeks ago, and I didn't like that in the Packers game too much. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Make sure you hit the like button because it helps out tremendously. You guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up, follow, peace out, guys.